I don't answer the text. I answered the money. Thumb on the screen. Banking app open. The line with their address stares back at me like a dare. HOA autopay. Active. I can hear the old firehouse clock in my head, the way it ticked between calls. One breath, one press, off. Now I read his message. Brunch is for her side only. My coffee goes cold fast. The HOA receipt on my fridge still curls at the corner where I taped it last week. That's my ink, my name, my quiet help no one mentions. I scroll through the ledger, groceries, phone lines, a grocery run at midnight when their baby had a fever. The numbers stack like bricks. I used to put out flames. Lately, I've been paying to keep them warm. The room holds its breath. Sprinklers tick outside. The fridge hums. I don't move. I let the silence work. Because silence is where people finally hear themselves. My phone double buzzes. Once. Twice. A new banner slices the calm. Urgent. Final notice issued. To your name. To my name? Somebody put my signature where it never should have gone. Somebody thought I wouldn't check. Keep watching. I'm walking into their backyard with a projector and a clock that only counts truth now. If you want the receipts, the reveal, and the fallout, subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. The smoke never really leaves. It hides in the cuffs of my sweatshirt, in the seams of the leather chair where I used to sleep between calls, in the cracks of my hands where lotion can't reach. I rub thumb to forefinger, and it comes back, a ghost of ash and diesel, the smell of other people's worst day. Light slides across the kitchen tile in a clean rectangle. On the table, a chipped mug, a ring of coffee cooling to the color of weak tea, a creased HOA receipt with my name typed neat as a label on a locker. The tape lifts at one corner. A breath of air moves it, barely. I lift the key ring from the hook by the door. It has weight I earned. House key, mailbox, truck, the thin brass one for their storage cage that always catches on the edges. I count like I used to count bottles. One for me, one for the man behind me, one for the man behind him. Habit is a spine when the room tries to go boneless. Sprinklers chatter outside the window, small metronomes keeping time I didn't choose. A neighbor's car door shuts. Somewhere, a dog barks twice and decides that's enough for today. I take a sip. Cold. Fine. The cold sharpens it. The floor is clean because I keep it that way. The fridge hums because I pay the bill that powers it. My hip aches because ladders are honest. I flex the joint once, slowly, then set the mug down without the saucer. No ceremony. Just gravity doing what it does. On the receipt, my last name sits next to the word paid. The word means something here. The screen on my phone, face down, means something too. I let it stay face down. Noise doesn't get to pick the hour. I slide the thin brass key off the ring and let it lie by itself on the table. It looks smaller alone. Most things do. I lay my palm flat beside it, lines meeting lines, and feel the beat in my wrist settle. The day is quiet enough to choose. Which door do I close first? Their storage, or the one they think they still walk through? I hit the speaker and set the phone on the table. Her voice cuts clean. Your help always has strings. I let the words sit. Then I open the drawer and pull the red folder. Inside, screenshots of every transfer, HOA dues, grocery runs, utility spot fixes, sorted by month, tagged by note fields I wrote when the house was quiet. I lay them out in rows like hose lines on blacktop. Printer wakes. I feed the stack. Date, amount, purpose prints in red across the top of each page. HOA, March, April, May. Paid by me. Groceries, midnight orders with cough syrup and formula. Utilities, reconnection fees nobody talks about. I punch holes and drop them into a thin binder. No adjectives, just math. I open their text thread. Scroll to the baby photo I took at 3:11 a.m., right before I drove to their place with a space heater. I print the timestamp beside the card receipt for that same hour. 2 pages, 1 story. Email pings, final notice. I drag it to the desktop and stamp a red label. To my name? I add it to the binder as a divider. The tap of the 3-ring snaps is sharp enough to clear the last of the coffee from my mouth. On the call, she's still talking. If you're going to make this about money, I'm making it about records, I say, and mute the line. I name the slideshow file Father's Day Ledger. Slide 1. Their message. Brunch is for her side only. Centered over a clean receipt with my surname. Slide 2. 3 months of HOA totals with my bank's last 4 digits masked except the part that proves it's mine. Slide 3. Decline text from this morning after I toggled the card off. I keep the rhythm tight. 3 beats per slide, then advance. I unmute. You'll see it tonight, I tell her. On the projector you bought with my card. Silence. Then a click. Call ends. I slide the thin brass key into a small envelope and write one word on the front. Return. The binder goes into my bag. The phone stays on mute. The printer cools. My hands are steady. First on the screen at that backyard, do I lead with the brunch text or the red stamped final notice with my name on it? I pocket 2 keys, truck on the right, thin brass on the left. The brass teeth scrape my thumbnail as I test it in the air, the way a locksmith watches bite patterns. It turns once in my memory, then sticks. It always sticks. I take a strip of red tape from the junk drawer and wrap the bow until it looks like a flag. If I need to find the line between what I open and what I close, I want to see it in color. I zip the binder into a canvas bag. Binder spine forward. Thumb drive in the small mesh pocket. The envelope with return written on it slides into the front sleeve. I add a roll of gaffer tape, 1 extension cord, an extra HDMI, and a power strip with a lit switch. I do it without thinking. Years on calls taught me that the thing you forget will be the only thing you need. The door lock thunks once. I pull it twice to feel the bite. Outside, heat rises in sheets off the asphalt and turns the air into a shimmer. The truck greets me with the smell of sun on vinyl and old pine from a tree-shaped freshener that died 2 summers ago. I set the bag on the passenger side and buckle it in like a rider. It helps me keep count. Key in. Half turn. The engine gives me that honest cough it always gives before it settles. Windows down. City sound meets me at ear level. A garbage truck heaves somewhere on the cross street. A radio laughs through static. I pull out easily and let the tires climb the curb lip without a complaint. At the first light, I check the mirror and see my eyes the way you see them in station glass before you climb a ladder. Not young, not shaken, just exact. The thin brass key with the red bow rests in the coin tray where I can reach it with 2 fingers and no look. I want that habit built before I need it. I pass the old firehouse. They repainted the doors. The brick holds 20 winters and does not change its mind. I count intersections to keep my head out of the part where anger lives. 4 to the big box hardware, right at the lot where the pavement buckles. Park under the crooked light pole because it leaves room for an exit even when the place is full. Inside, the air conditioning hits hard enough to fog my glasses. I stand for a second and let them clear. I move fast because I know what I came for. Projector bulb rated for the make they keep on sale. A clamp in case there is no table. A small tripod because backyards never have the surface you think they will. A 2-prong adapter because old houses lie about their outlets. Cash, receipt folded once, no email trail for anyone to claim later. Back at the truck, I open the glove box and line the small gear on a microfiber towel the way we used to stage tools on the bumper. Everything has a place. The towel keeps things from sliding when I brake. The binder goes on top. Then the keys. Then the return envelope on the binder as a capstone. I close the glove box and press the latch until it clicks. I take the thin brass key again and pinch it by the taped bow. I want to feel how it will feel when I set it down later. The weight is nothing. The meaning is not. I put it back and push the tray until it is square. The engine temp climbs to normal. I pull into traffic and let a bus pass. Bright ads for things nobody needs wash the side of my truck in color. I breathe through my nose and count 3 heartbeats on the exhale. On the sidewalk, a father lifts a toddler from a stroller, and the kid laughs loud enough to turn a couple of heads. I do not look away from the road. A text lights the screen. "We're starting at 2. Don't make a scene." I let it fade. Then I open the voice recorder and say precisely what I am carrying. Binder, slides, projector bulb, clamp, tripod, extension, HDMI, adapter, envelope, keys. My voice comes back through the speakers. Calm, square. That is the only sound I need from this phone today. I hit a red and watch heat press wrinkles into the air above the hood. I rest my forearm on the wheel and trace the small scars on my knuckles with my thumb. Grease, ladder rungs. One bite from a dog that did not know I was there to help. Old marks, new work. I map the route in my head. Backyard gate by the driveway. Outlet by the patio light. Table under the maple where they always stack paper plates. The projector wants shade and a flat plane. If I cannot have both, I make my own. The gaffer tape will pin the extension cord along the deck board so nobody trips and calls me the problem. The sky turns a tone that makes chrome look sharper. I pull into a station for ice, not for gas. The bag of cubes goes into a small cooler with a lid that still snaps. Cold water keeps the voice from drying out when people start pretending they do not understand numbers. I place a black marker in the cooler handle where it cannot get lost. I test the truck horn once. Short chirp, not for them, for me. It is the same as tapping the regulator valve on an air bottle before you go up a stairwell. You do the check even when no one is watching, maybe especially then. I ease back onto the avenue and let a cyclist cross in front of me. He nods without breaking cadence. I nod back. The street gives me a string of greens. I take them like they were set for me. I rehearse the first slide in my head. The brunch text on the left. The paid receipt with my name on the right. No comment. The second slide is narrower. HOA column totals. 3 months. My last 4 digits are visible. Then the email with final notice stamped to my name? In red, large enough to read from the cheap seats. No voice raised, no throat cleared. I will let the projector fan hum, the grill pop, and the music carry the room. The red tape on the key glows in the sun like a brake light. I touch it once with the back of my trigger finger and hold. The finger I use to pull lines. The finger I will use to set a boundary on a picnic table. The finger that will not shake. I check the bag buckle one more time with a quick tug. It holds. The truck rattles over a pavement seam, and everything in the glove box stays put. I make the last turn for home to drop the ice and swap shirts for one without coffee on it. No logos, no slogans, plain blue, the kind that does not invite an argument. I hang the new shirt on the back of a chair and lay the old one in the laundry sink like a flag that did its job. The thin brass key goes into my front pocket. The truck key goes into my palm. I look around the room where I will sleep tonight. Because I want to remember what quiet feels like before I let it get drowned out by noise. The door closes behind me with the sound of a book shut flat. Do I mount the projector low on the picnic table for eye-level impact, or high on a clamp to throw the slides across the siding like a billboard? I picture their yard, the angle of the maple, and the way the sun burns through that side in late afternoon. I draw it in my head like a chalk plan on the station floor. I mark the power source, the cord run, the guest clusters, and the place where the wind will push smoke. I mark where I will stand. I mark where I will not. I start the truck again and let the fan on high move the heat off the dashboard. The bag clinks once as the clamp knocks the tripod leg. I move them apart and wedge the towel between. The noise vanishes. I run my fingers along the binder spine until I feel the groove where a sticker used to be. I think about the sticker I will never put there. We do not decorate proof. A second text lights up. If you care about family, don't embarrass us. I read it twice, then deleted the preview from the banner, so my screen went blank. Family does not live in a banner. It lives in who pays when the lights go off and what name sits beside the word paid. I take the last left toward the lake road, not because it is shorter, but because it keeps me away from the strip where they might see me early. I want my first sight of them to be when the slides are ready. The outlet is taped, the cord is safe, and the fan is spinning. They will not get my face before they get the facts. I tap the return envelope with the back of a knuckle 3 times, light and even. It sounds like rain on a truck roof, familiar, steady. I will set it down last. I will not ask for thanks when I do. I drive with the window low and the radio off, and the city gives me a clear lane. The air tastes like warm metal and cut grass. The wheel feels dry where the leather wore thin decades ago. My hands find the exact grip they see every time, as if the truck and I agreed long ago to meet at this point. The thin brass key shifts once in my pocket when I break at a crosswalk. It stays. When I set that key on their table, do I say anything at all, or let the red tape say it for me? I tap Lydia's name and let it ring once. She answers before the second. I'm fine, I say, because she always asks. I tell her about the text, brunch is for her side, about the word strings, about the auto pay I slid to off without blinking. I give her the clean version, no color, just the line items. HOA, groceries, phone seats, the night runs, the quiet runs, the final notice that hit my inbox with my name on it for their debt. She listens the way a medic listens, no noise between breaths. Then she walks me back through nights I try not to replay. The newborn who wouldn't settle until I drove slow circles around the block, the space heater on the car seat, the month his job disappeared, and the card I handed over with a simple, use it. The line of my name on the bills like tape holding a cracked window shut. I sit in the parked truck with the fan on low. The thin brass key is a pressure point against my thigh. I keep the line open and stare at the creases in the steering wheel until they stop looking like roads. You did what fathers do, she says. Now do what a man does when people rewrite the story. Which is? Set the boundary, then show it. Not a fight. A demonstration. Her voice is soft and flat, the tone we used over the radio when a floor was about to give. I tell her about the binder, the red headers, the first 3 slides, and the projector I picked up with cash. There's a slight sound on her end, paper flipping. She's writing as she listens. She always writes. Keep the narrative simple, she says. 3 beats. You paid. They denied. You stopped. Then add the 4th. They misused your name. Put the email filter last. Let the crowd get there with you. I remember the night she sat in my kitchen when he called to say they'd had a fight about money and could they crash here just for a week. She brought over sheets and a pot of stew and said nothing about pride. We made up the sofa bed, and I used the old blanket we kept at the station for hauls in winter. Check your bank app, she says now, and go to authorized users. If she added herself anywhere, take her off before you go. Quietly, no announcement. Then call the HOA and ask them to confirm in writing that you are not an owner, and they'll stop sending notices to you. Forward that confirmation to yourself and print it for the binder. It's the slide that buys you the room. I do it while we're on the line. Apps. Menus. Toggle after toggle. The quiet kind of work that rewires a house after a storm. My thumb moves steadily. Each remove asks if I'm sure. I am? She asks me to read the subject lines I'm planning to show on the projector. I do. She cuts one, too long, cuts another, too loud. Keep the text short enough that a man standing by the grill can catch it with one eye while he's pretending not to. We don't use the word fair, it doesn't help. We use accurate. We use documentation. We use returns, receipts, and time. She asks if I remember the exact hour I paid the reconnection fee for their power last fall. I say 6:03 a.m. I have the text where he said, "You're a lifesaver." I have the email that says, "Power restored." She tells me to pair those on one slide. Cause, effect. No commentary. The room will do the rest. Wind shivers the maple outside my truck. A kid on a bike slaloms the curb cuts and sings to himself. I put the call on speaker and set the phone face down on the seat so I can feel the truck's low idle through my palm on my knee. Bring a small notebook, she says, and write down any question they try to spin into a side path. You can tell a room you'll answer after the slides, then answer only with numbers. Don't add adjectives. They're going to try to move you into feelings. Leave them there by themselves. I tell her about the return envelope, the key inside. She laughs once, small. Make the placement of the key its own beat, she says. Do it after the email filter slide, not before. Otherwise, they'll try to make it about access instead of about misusing your name. The order matters. She asks what shirt I'm wearing. I say plain blue. She says good, no logos. She asks if I printed a slide with a QR code that links to the redacted PDF in case anyone wants to check later. I hadn't. I add it. She says, make the QR code big enough to scan from the deck. Her voice goes low. You know what I'm going to ask next. Say it. When your son looks at you, really looks, do you hold the stare or do you look back at the screen? I tighten my hand on the wheel. I look at the screen until the last slide rolls, I say. Then I look at him and say, this is what I covered and this is what I'm done covering. Full stop. No lecture. Good, she says. And if he says, you're choosing money over family? I say, I chose family. You chose my money. Then I hand him the key. She exhales once, like the way we used to when a line found water and the hiss told you the pump was good. Call me when it's done, she says. If they get loud, let them be the only loud thing there. We sit with the line open and no one talks. This is the part where other people add noise. We don't. I listen to the fan, the low motor, the far dog, the near leaves, the gut-level stillness that comes right before you open a door you're not going back through. Set the boundary, she says again, softer. Then show it. Copy, I say, out of habit. The call ends with a little click that lands clean. I put the phone face up on the passenger seat and lay the notebook on top of it. On the first page, I write a title in block letters. Questions they'll try. Under it, I list 3. Why now? Do you hate her? Are you trying to embarrass us? Next to each, I write a one-line answer with a digit in it so I can't wander. Because of the final notice. No, I'm showing dates and amounts. I close the book and slide it into the bag behind the binder. The thin brass key knocks once when I shift. I settle it with a fingertip so the red tape faces up. For the first time all day, my heart rate drops to a steady, even pace. I start the truck and pull out of the space. The fan hums. The road opens. The plan holds. When he throws the first accusation, do I answer from the notebook I prepared, or point to the slide and let the room read the numbers for him? The projector comes out of the box like a tool, not a toy. Lens cap off, fan test, keystone straight. I count cables into my palm, HDMI, power, spare, then coil each the same way we coiled line on wet pavement, elbow, palm, twist, lay. No knots later. No apologies later. On the kitchen table, I stage the deck. Slide 1. Their brunch text left, my paid stamp right. Slide 2. HOA totals for 3 months, my mask digits clear enough to verify. Slide 3. Groceries paired with the 3:11 a.m. space heater receipt. Slide 4. Utilities reconnection at 6:03 a.m. matched to power restored subject line. Slide 5. The final notice flagged to my name? In red. Slide 6. The store credit they open with my contact as co-responsible, file number visible. Slide 7. The email filter rules shunt HOA mail to junk. Slide 8. QR code to a redacted PDF of every page I'm showing. Final slide. Key return pending, white letters, black field. I set the playback to manual. No auto advance, no surprises. I mark each slide with a tiny dot in the corner. 1 dot for funding, 2 for misuse, 3 for boundary. It's a map only I can see. The way we marked search grids with chalk when smoke wanted to blind us. I test on the living room wall. Throw distance. 10 feet gives me a readable 60-inch image in daylight. In shade, it'll punch harder. I scribble on a sticky, arrive early, blade shade under maple. If glare, move to the fence. I pack a clamp and a tripod. The table might wobble, the grass might tilt. I bring my own ground. I print 2 handout copies scaled to half page. One for me, one for Lydia, if this drags into Monday. I tuck them behind the binder cover so I can slide them out with one finger. I don't plan to pass anything around, I plan to display. But the backup is the difference between a clean exit and a second trip. I check the power. Their yard has a patio outlet that trips with cheap strips. Mine isn't cheap. I tag my strip switch with a thumb of gaffer tape so a grabby cousin can't kill my feed with a curious finger. I taped an arrow on the plug so that in the dark I won't waste a second. I do a dry run for voice. This is the text you sent. This is the bill with my name. This is the period I covered. This is where I stop. No adverbs, no softeners. The slides will carry the room. My job is to stay in lane. I set the return envelope on the table, place the thin brass key on top, and red tape it up. I time the beat. After the email filter slide, I'll lay the key on their picnic table like a stamped receipt, not a threat. A transaction has closed. I dress the bag, binder spine toward the zipper, projector flat, bulb cushioned, tripod lashed to the side sleeve so it doesn't rattle. The notebook goes in the outer pocket, the marker clipped to the spiral. I slip the QR slide onto my phone as a standby image in case someone kills the power. The code will still scan off the screen glare if I hold it steady. I run a last checklist out loud. Projector, bulb, HDMI, power, adapter, binder, handouts, thumb drive, gaffer tape, power strip, clamp, tripod, return envelope, key, water, notebook, marker. I lock the front door and pause. The house is quiet, the way a rig is calm at 2 a.m., all the mass waiting. I take the quiet with me. The bag goes back on the passenger seat. I buckle it. The fan kicks up dust, and the lens cap winks once, then settles. I rest my left hand on the binder, palm flat, and feel the cool through the canvas. The plan fits my hand. This is not a speech. This is a scene built from facts. Their yard is just a room with no roof. I've worked in rooms with worse conditions. I start the engine. The day moves. My jaw loosens. The decision is already made. All that's left is the showing. When I step through their gate, do I ask for an outlet like a guest, or walk straight to the patio and plug in like a man taking back his name? I park in the shade and set the phone flat on my thigh. Bag buckled. Binder under my palm. This part is numbers and switches. Grocery card first. Banking app, wallets, authorized cards. Her name is under Household Supplemental. Tap, remove user. Prompt. This will deactivate the card ending Acquire. 27. Continue? I press yes. A red banner slides down. Confirmed. 7:12 a.m. I screenshot the banner, crop the edges, and drag it into the deck as a half slide under the grocery totals. Caption: Deactivated 7:12 a.m. Cell plan next. Carrier app. Manage lines. The slot labeled Guest Extra Seat. I toggle off. Prompt: Line will be suspended. Charges stop on cycle close. Continue? Yes. A second red banner. Confirmed. Line suspended. I add that to the deck, smaller, right-aligned under the midnight formula receipt. One look, one conclusion. HOA guarantee. Email. Search Association MGMT. I open the thread where they pulled me in last year and used my contact as ballast. I hit reply all and strip everyone but the manager. Subject: correction, payer versus owner. Body: effective today, all HOA payments will reflect the legal owner of unit near worse. Please remove my full name from any payer guarantee, third-party bill notices, and delinquency routing. I am not the owner of the title. Please confirm in writing. I have attached a PDF of their own bylaws, where owner is defined. I have highlighted the clause that distinguishes the payer from the owner. I sent it. Then I call the office and ask for a written reply. I get the desk clerk. I gave my calm voice and my email twice. 5 minutes later, my screen pings. Received. We will correct payor records today. I print it as a one-page slide. Their letterhead, timestamp, the line that matters in bold. Your name is not an owner. Auto-pay toggles I forgot to list. Utilities app. Friends and family share. They added her as a viewer last fall. I kill the share and the emergency pin. Prompt: confirmed, access removed. I save the banner and tuck it behind the reconnection slide, a quiet note that the back door is closed. Credit alerts. I pull my bureau app and check authorized accounts. The store credit with my contact marked co-responsible is still listed. I don't touch it yet, that's for the legal strike. I only add the account ID and the date it opened to the timeline under the misuse column. No adjectives. Receipts into rhythm. I tilt the phone toward the light so the confirmation reds match across screenshots. Same hue, same weight. I rename each file with a clean convention. 20250615 watts was 712 das grocery. Deactivate. I drop them into the deck where eyes will expect them, right after each claim they made in texts. Claim on the left, my confirmed on the right. I keep the beat tight, cause, cut. Outbound notice to them. I drafted a short text to my son. From today, I will no longer pay your HOA, groceries, or phone line. See you at 2. No lecture. I don't hit send. I'll let the slides say it in front of the people they perform for. HOA portal. I log in one last time and open autopay settings. It shows inactive. I take a final screenshot, blackout routing, and leave the toggle status visible. Confirmed, autopay off. That goes behind slide 2 as a tap to zoom in case anyone pretends the first screenshot was an error. Email to self, paper trail. I email the deck to an address I keep for proof only. Subject: Father's Day deck V1 timestamp. No one else CC'd. I save a copy to the thumb drive, then another to the phone. Redundancy isn't fancy. It's how you get home. Read receipt. HOA. The portal email dings a second time. Read 7:26 a.m. I paste that line onto the HOA slide footer so the timestamp sits like a stamp on a crate. Anyone who can read will read it. Final check. Money trail closed. Bank app. Recurring. The list shortens. HOA removed, grocery deactivated, carrier suspended, utilities share revoked. I take a single composite screenshot and tuck it at the end of the procedural cluster. If they try to claim confusion, I can show a single pane with 4 red confirmed headers stacked like stop signs. I close the phone, tilt the binder toward me, and breathe. This isn't punishment. It's a return to accurate roles. I paid when there was a baby, a dark apartment, and a man out of work. Today, there is a yard, a grill, and guests. Today, there are slides. I stow the phone and start the truck, the plan now sitting clean in the bag beside me, humming like the projector fan in my head. At the barbecue, do I show the composite screenshot of all four red, confirmed banners at once for impact, or drip them one by one to make the room feel each cut? The first bubble lands softly. Her. Did something happen? Then another. Her. Card declined. Then three in a row. Him. Dad? Him. Your card's not working. Him. We're getting stuff for later. Can you just... I keep the tone off. I take screenshots. I crop the edges so only the words live. I drop them into the deck as thin inserts under the money slides, evidence answering evidence, claim, then consequence. I set timestamps small in the corner so no one misses the clock. Another ping. Her, this is petty. I print that one in black on white with no border. I position it beside confirmed, line suspended, so the room can feel the tug of war between tone and truth. The phone hums in my palm. Bank alert. New account activity linked to my contact. I open it. Store credit. Chain I never use. Co-responsible flag under my name. Date opened. Last month. The app asks if I recognize the account. I don't. I press no. It asks for a reason. I chose opened without my consent. It offers to start a dispute. I stop one step short. I need the screen first. I screenshot the account pane with the account ID and the store logo. I crop it clean. I built a new slide. Top line, account opened. Subline, date and ID. Right side, my contact flagged co-responsible. I lay a red stamp across the center. Unauthorized. It looks like a fire line across a door. That's what it is. Another ping. Email from the store. Welcome. You're pre-approved for increases. I paste the subject into the slide footer. I added a second line. I did not apply. Then I drop a smaller slide behind it with the app's Report Identity Issue screen grayed out. Not tapped yet. I want the room to see I held fire until I could show the match. The texts keep coming. Him. We're in line. Can you fix this now? Her. We can talk about your little show later. Don't embarrass us. I take 2 beats to stack their bubbles as a timeline strip. Left to right. Words sliding toward the unauthorized slide like they always had momentum in this direction. I add a thin gray line under the strip and label it, After Support Ended, Immediate Requests. It reads the way a gauge reads, needle passed safe. I open the phone's contact card for the store account and press Save Proof. The export lands as a tiny VCF file. I tuck it into the deck's resource folder. If anyone asks how I know, I'll show the tech breadcrumb. No narration, just a finger on an icon. I test the slide order. Groceries off, phone suspended, HOA corrected. Then text asking for more, then the unauthorized account. The rhythm hits like 4 short beats and a long hold. The long hold is where people breathe wrong. The bank app offers a freeze on future pulls from that store. I decline for now and take a screenshot of the offer. I add one more slide, small, plain, action pending after presentation. I don't want them calling this a stunt. I want them to call it evidence because that is what it is. I check the deck in thumbnail view. Red headers form a spine. The text bubbles are teeth. The unauthorized stamp is the bite. A voicemail drops from my son. He doesn't leave words, just breath and the sound of a scanner at a checkout. I save it. I don't play it. I type audio 0/07 in the notes under the grocery slide in case someone says I edited the day to fit my posture. I didn't. The day fit itself. I put the phone down and let the room fill my chest until it sits even. This is the handover between clinical and resolute. I pick up the marker and write one more line inside the binder cover. Show first, decide second. The projector fan hums once as I test the power strip. The light catches the unauthorized stamp and faintly throws it onto the kitchen wall. It looks like it wants the house's siding. I close the binder. I set the phone on top. I breathe. I lift both and carry them to the door. Do I unveil unauthorized early to reset the room? Or hold it until the end and let it be the slide that makes even the cousin stop chewing? Gate latch lifts. I step into a yard I supposedly don't belong in. Plastic tables bow under foil pans. Folding chairs in uneven rows. Smoke drifts from a grill that needs cleaning. Fat pops, then hisses. Laughter thins when they see the bag in the binder. The projector sits on a flimsy side table near the patio door, power strip snaking to an outlet under the light. I know that strip. I bought it. The projector menu floats blue on the siding, waiting for an input like a chest waiting for a rhythm. I set my thumb drive in the port. Click. The fan hums deep and the file list appears. Someone tries to joke. I don't look up. I lift the binder, lay it next to the projector, and clamp the table to keep it from wobbling. The HDMI clicks home. I test focus. Dial left, right, sharp. I keep my voice low so only the first row can hear. I'm showing records. Slide 1. Left, the brunch text, for her side only. Right. The paid HOA receipt with my surname. No commentary. A couple by the cooler leans in. The grill pops again. That's the only applause I'll take. Slide 2. 3 months of HOA totals, my masked digits visible, timestamps along the bottom. I use the remote like a metronome, one beat between each advance. At the back table, an uncle stops chewing and squints. Slide 3. Midnight grocery order, formula, fever reducer, paired with the card receipt at 3:11 a.m. The screen's light hits the baby monitor on the picnic table, casting a weak reflection. I let the silence draw the line for me. Slide 4. Utility reconnection, 6:03 a.m., beside the power-restored subject line. I don't say I drove over with breakfast that morning. I let the slide hold the weight. A cousin near the grill pulls his phone out and puts it away again. Slide 5. Final notice flagged, "To my name?" in red. I feel heads tilt as people read it twice. Someone to my right starts to speak. I advance before the words land. This is not a panel. This is a showing. Slide 6. Text after the toggles. Card declined. We're in line. Can you just... Stacked with their times under a gray line that says, "After support ended." The stack reads like the day taught itself to be true. Slide 7. The store credit pane, their logo, account ID, the flag under my contact, co-responsible. Across it, the red stamp, unauthorized. The projector throws the word onto the siding, making the vinyl look scored. The back row shifts in their chairs. My son's smile stays on his mouth like tape, not glue. "Okay, but," she starts. I raise one finger, and press the remote. Slide 8, twist number 2. Email filter rule. From Association MGMT, move to spam, date created. Her profile icon on the top bar. The line that matters, apply to existing conversations. The yard exhales in one piece, like a pressure door opening. I don't look at her. I don't have to. The slide is looking for everyone. The grill falls quiet except for the fan. Somewhere, a fly taps plastic. I let the fan hum carry the beat, then I lift the return envelope from the binder and set it on the picnic table in front of them. I place the thin brass key on top, red tape up. "Key return pending," I say. 3 words. Air moves over the yard like a change in the weather. I click the HOA reply, their letterhead, received. "We will correct payor records today. Your name is not an owner." I let the words be the only sound. My son's stare slides from the screen to the envelope to my hands. He stops breathing through that smile. It drops a fraction, then holds. Someone whispers, That's, that's their own rule. I nod once, not to him, to the screen. I sweep the slides backward. Paid, power, final notice, texts, unauthorized, filter. So the arc is visible in reverse. If anyone wants the past, they can watch it go back in order and see that the end was built into the start. I step to the side so the projection covers the space where I was standing. I'm not the point. The math is. The cousin by the cooler clears his throat. So who? He starts, then stops. He doesn't finish because he read it the same way everyone read it. Who isn't the question anymore? The rule is. I click on the QR slide. The code is big enough for the back row. If you want to verify, I say. A few phones rise. Not hers, not his. No one has to say the word embarrassing. The siding wears it for them. I keep my hands at my sides so no one can call them fists. My jaw is loose, my shoulders square. When the light wind pushes a corner of the screen, I hold the table with 2 fingers, not the whole hand. I don't ask for the thanks they won't give. I don't ask for the apology they can't reach for in public. I step back half a foot and let the fan hum fill the gap where a speech would go. Do I end the run here and walk, leaving them with the key and the QR, or hold for 1 beat more and ask, would you like to correct the guest list now? Or your records? I slide the storage key from the envelope and lay it on their picnic table. Red tape up. Return the cage by Friday, I say, no more. I keep the rest of the ring, house, truck, mailbox, the part that belongs to me. I power down the projector. Fan spins down to a hush, thumb drive out, clamp off the wobbly table. The QR code stays on a handout under the plate stack. People glance. No one touches it. I coil the cord clean, tape the plug head to itself, and lift the bag. I give the yard one last square look, so they understand this is over. Gate latch drops behind me. Street air tastes like charcoal and cut grass. I don't look back. Truck door, engine, window down. I let the road pull heat off my face. The day thins as I drive. No radio, no calls. Just the low note of tires and the tick of the turn signal when I need it. My hands sit easy at 10 and 2. The bag is buckled like a rider. Home holds steady. Door unlocks with a single bite. I hang the ring on the hook and feel the difference in weight. The missing brass is a silence you can measure. Kitchen, pan, 2 eggs, heat until the edges are browned. Salt, pepper. The fork on the plate is the loudest sound in the room. I eat standing. I rinse the plate and leave it in the rack to dry on its own. The binder goes to the drawer I use for papers that may be needed but do not run my days. I set it flat with the label facing down. I want the room to remember what quiet feels like with the lid closed. Phone on the counter. I open the bank app and freeze the store credit pulls. I save the dispute form to drafts. Tomorrow, Lydia and I will file the affidavit, pull the IP log, send the certified letter, and lock the credit lift. Tonight stops at the edge of that work. I mark the HOA reply unread so I can forward it to myself in the morning with a fresh subject line. I turn off banner alerts. I leave the ringer on for family only. The list is short. Shower. Old smoke lifts from my skin with the steam. I stand until the heat goes from warm to almost cold. Towel, clean shirt. Bare feet on wood that does not creak when I cross the hall. I open a window and let the summer slide in without the smell of someone else's grill. I sit in the chair that knows my back and listen to the house settle. Pipes click like a metronome that trusts the time. A neighbor's laugh rides up once and fades. The ceiling fan draws a small circle in the air and calls it enough. I texted Lydia one line. Key returned, slides landed. Tomorrow, we file. She sends a single check mark. That is plenty. I put the phone face down. The day stops moving. I breathe in through my nose and count 4 out for 6. My chest answers with space I haven't felt in months. I lock the front door and press my palm to the wood. Solid. Then I walk back to the kitchen and turn off the light with one finger. The dark is clean. The room stays a room. No ghosts here. I'm not angry. I'm done. Do you want to watch what happens when we file the dispute and the paper trail turns on under real light? If you do, subscribe now so you don't miss the follow-through.